Hello everyone and welcome to this EV Geek Studios video. Today is an exciting day because once again, Joel, who is behind the camera, is getting a new EV charger.
Yay me!
This is the perks of Joel having a house with a 1450 outlet. My charger at home is hardwired, so it's not near as convenient for me to do stuff like this. But we're going to be checking out this unit from IYILO. They're a fairly new entrant to the market, but so far I've seen really good things about this unit. Tom Malogny, who does the State of Charge channel, has a video on it if you want to go check out. He gets super in-depth and does all sorts of testing, so go check that out if you're interested. But I'm excited to be able to check this out for you and get to put it here. If you might remember, we had a different model here before we've done a video with, and it was fine for you, but you had a couple little things you would like to tweak on it. And so I'll be curious to see how this compares to that. So what we're going to do in this video, we're going to unbox it, show you everything it comes with. We'll get it put up on the wall. We'll talk about some of the safety features it has, because this is one of the things that makes this kind of stand out, is it has quite a few safety features. We'll get it plugged in, make sure we're getting full power, and we'll kind of show off the app some, and then call it a day. All right, so you can see this is the box it came in. We've already cut it open, so you don't have to watch us use a drywall saw to open it today. So again, this is the IYILO Home Electric Vehicle Charging Station. It is a level 2 charger. This one is the 48 amp version. However, it does come with the 1450 outlet if you need it. So we'll have to derate this down to 40 amps so that we're within the 80% limit of an outlet. But you could technically hardwire and then do a full 48 amps on it. You can see you've got just a pretty basic box. It does give you some QR codes just immediately to go download the app before you even get started, which is nice. And we're going to pop this open. And the first thing we get is a big piece of propaganda. Nice. So again, this is just your real quick start. It says it's got a book, and then download the app. It has some things for assistance in here, which I believe it says it has a 3-year warranty on it, which is nice. So we'll go ahead and move the propaganda out the way. Move this foam. And we've got our first little bag. So you can see this does look like it supports RFID cards, if that is a feature you need to use. Joel, you probably won't use it, but cool that it supports it and comes with the cards. You don't have to buy them separate.
Thank you.
And then we've got our propaganda. So you can see we've got some amperage labels here, so you can actually label the circuit breakers if you want to, as well as label the charger and then what amperage you have the charger set to.
That's nice.
Nice that it comes with it, and yeah, you can see it just shows you you're supposed to just take it and put it on the little blank spot, and very nice.
Yes.
You've got quick install guide, so it just kind of shows quickly what you're going to do. It's got a little mounting plate, it looks like. It comes with a template, make some holes, put the anchors in, which we're using a piece of plywood, so we don't need to do the anchors. Hang the charger. Bob's your uncle.
Yep.
Here is our wall mount template. And I'm going to open this real quick and see what we need to do in order to adjust the charge rate.
As we continue to look.
As you look, I'll speed this part up. Rotary switch setting. Okay, so it looks like there is a rotary switch on the inside. Okay, cool. So we'll get there in a bit. Well, it says or has a preset for default 40 amp out of the box.
There you go.
So it should be fine, actually.
We're sure to take the back cover off, hopefully.
We will trust and verify.
Yes.
All right, so I'll pop that closed, and we will now pull the unit out. So this is pretty compact, just immediately, kind of the actual unit is. Also pretty well packed. You've got some custom mold here. Foam, that said, the charging handle did push up against here, and it did try to bust out. Not too big of a deal, but just to know.
Yeah, there's plastic over the top of the handle, so.
Try and
If you
get
lift,
this
I will
pulled.
move. There's the bracket here too. Get that out. Along with all of our heavy-duty
Hardware
cables.
and oh, okay. So if you wanted to hardwire, it comes with the little
cool.
coupler so that you can do that.
I believe that's all from that.
That's all from that. And here we are.
It looks, I expected it to be bigger than that.
Yeah, it's pretty compact. So we can see here this cable's actually not super thick either, which is nice. I know that was a complaint you had previously.
Yes.
Let me get this off.
You just want to snap all the bubbles. I know what you want.
No, it's taped.
And you want to snap all the bubbles. It's a little kid in you. Do you need the hacksaw back?
I don't need no stinking hacksaw.
The
You can tell we were
the sheetrock knife.
We can tell we were well prepared for
Yes.
this. Golly.
Sebastian's gonna get a Swiss Army knife out. Look at that. A jack of all trades. That's Sebastian.
Thanks. Appreciate it. It's about time to put some respect on my name.
That's right. There we go.
Woo!
So let's give that a feel. Yep.
So you can see it's got this kind of rubberized coating on it, which is nice. I really like this. This is metal. So I actually very recently ran into a situation where I have a charger at my work where it's a similar mount where the holster is integrated and it kind of sticks out. Well, somebody, when they were getting out of their car, I'm not going to name names, but it was probably me, accidentally hit this while it was in the holster, and the charger has a plastic clip and it snapped right off. Now, good on the company that did the charger. They just sent me a new clip. No questions asked. It showed up in like 2 days, and this just pops out. You replace it. But this is metal. That's not going to happen on this one. You're going to break the charger before you break the clip. So anyway, like that. Nice to see. And yeah, this cable really
is thin.
It's pretty easily moved and malleable. Of course, it's warm outside. It's not cold, but yeah, that's nice. And this has some heft to it as well. And you can see you've got your 1450 here. Again, this cable's
that's going to be thicker,
big and fat, but that makes sense. Yeah, 1450 plug there, and hopefully we don't have to open it up to change that dip switch because it says it was pre-applied for us. All right, at this point, I think we get a rounding template, we get it put on the wall, and we go from there.
All right, so Sebastian, we got the mount up. That didn't take too long. What's next?
Now we got to put this thing on the wall. Okay. So you can see it has these little hooks it slides into, and then you've got some little locking screws you put here on the side. So I'm just going to take it, slap the wall off the cable, boom, it's on. You can see it's loosey-goosey right now, but we grab the included security torque screws, and
also on the side here, as you see, it gives you some little warnings too with the lights that are shown.
And it comes with the little Allen key
cool
to put the security torques in. I'm just gonna.
So if you're using this outside your house, it's nice that it has a security torque screw.
Right.
Yeah. For us, it's in the garage. Probably don't need to worry too much about that.
And I mean, security is a loose word. Yes. Anyone can buy these bits.
Yeah. You probably get a pack on Amazon for $5.
Yeah. So let me just grab this one.
So did you notice I haven't had a chance to hold it. Is it pretty light? Is the unit pretty light itself?
It's not super heavy, but it also doesn't feel super cheap.
Okay, good.
If that makes sense.
Yes.
Like, it's not so light that I'm like, oh my God, there's nothing in it.
Yeah. It's smaller and more compact as
it is definitely smaller. You can see it has an integrated, the cable kind of sits up here on the top type situation. Get that nice and tight. And you can see now that I have those in, it's much more robust. We'll take our very thick 1450 cable and bend it around and get that lined up, and bam! Just kidding. It beeped. Cycling, doing some self-checks. And it's on. All right. I think at this point we get your phone out and we set up the app.
All right.
All right. So we got it up. We got it plugged in. We went ahead and coiled the cable around. The floor's got some dirt on it. That's not the charger's fault.
Pollen.
I actually really like, so I noticed when I put this in, so a lot of these chargers have the built-in holsters. You kind of have to nail it just right to get it. But you notice this one's pretty loose. And so that's by design, so that like you can get, it'll plug in from basically any angle. That's
Plus, if you bump it accidentally, there's got some.
And it should have some give if you accidentally hit it or whatnot.
Interesting design. I like that.
So actually kind of nice. Now, of course, it does mean it flops around some, but also it ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. Yeah.
Anyway, all right. We got the app out. Got it set up. No devices yet. You already created your account. We're going to hit add a new device. It's asking basically for location, so it can kind of use the Bluetooth and all that jazz. We'll hit next. Allow. Searching for devices. There we are. Boop. Fetching Wi-Fi. That sounds so fun.
I know, it's fetching it. It's like it's a dog catching it. Shroot Farms.
Do you know your Wi-Fi password?
I do.
Okay.
Are we pausing it here?
All right, typed our password in. Okay. Provisioning.
Oh.
Let's see, we're blinking up here now. Binding successful,
There we go.
and we're here.
All my lights are green. That's what you want to see. All green.
And so you can see in the app some of the stuff it's just going to show you. You've got your voltage and power and current. There you go. So you can see, and those are two of the features we're going to talk about here in a sec, but you've got voltage, power, current, how many kilowatt hours have been dispensed when it's plugged in, how long. You can see there it is, 40 amps by default because it's the plug-in version.
Love that.
Very nice. You can see in the app you get some stats. So as you go through and charge, it'll tell you how much energy it dispensed in 24 hours, in a week, in a month.
Oh, that's cool to keep track of that.
In a year, and you can set up charge schedules as well if you're not doing it in the vehicle. So these are two of the features that they're really proud of. So a lot of EV chargers put a temperature sensor in the handle.
Yes.
Not a lot put a sensor in the handle and here.
Oh, okay.
So one of the most common failure points on EV charging is bad plug installs. Either just over time they wear down and fail, or the amperage is set too high, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
And so then the plastic ends up melting and you don't know your charger's broken until either the house is burned down or the charger is, the plug's caught fire.
Right? Yeah.
You go to plug in one day and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Well, this should help mitigate some of that because A, you'd be able to see if that plug's getting super hot.
Yep.
And it uses those features to, if you're actively charging, it'll cut power and all that if it gets above a certain temperature threshold. So you asked me earlier, why did I bring a heat gun?
Yes.
Because we're going to see if we could shove that off some.
Yep.
But first, it's time.
It's time.
I'm going to plug in the car.
Let's go.
Let me unwrap the cable
The
some.
one that you just wrapped up.
I know. I wanted it to look good for video.
Wait a minute. It's a key. It's like
It's a key. You got to open the back
I gotta
door.
open the door. All right.
Oh, yeah, that's a nice action.
Yeah, I don't have a charge schedule set, so we should hear the magic words from EV. All right, so.
All right, and you can see here on the app, we're showing 242 volts,
Yep.
9.42 kilowatts, 39.2 amps, which is exactly what you want. And you
Yep.
can see you've got your time going. You can actually, on the fly, it looks like,
Change it.
adjust the current, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
We should see that drop here in a second.
There it goes.
There it goes. It's actually kind of cool that you can do it on the fly.
Yep.
So, I'm going to let this charge for a minute.
Yes, we are. By the way, I'm
And-
at like 20% too, so I'm glad
Perfect.
we did. Yep.
So yeah, we'll let it charge for a minute and we'll bust out the heat gun and see what happens.
See if we can get it to shut off. Yep.
All right. So Joel's car has been charging for a little bit. You can see I've got our friend hooked up. We're going to talk about him here in a second. But I wanted to show real quick on the app. I noticed as we were sitting here waiting. So if I can come in here and hit advanced. So you can see this supports power sharing. So you can have two of these on the same circuit and it'll split power between them, which is really cool. And then you can kind of set a do not exceed 80% rating, which is nice. You can also see in here, this supports OCPP. So that's huge because that means you can tie it to pretty much any sort of charger backend that you would want. So if you had a service that you wanted to be able to, say at a business, wanted to have multiple of these lined up, you could tie them into your app or whatever and tie like authentication and activation of the charger to that app. So like if you wanted to charge to use, like have to charge money for level 2 charging or hotel guests only, things like that, you could actually use one of these units, which is super cool. Super cool to see that supported. That's fine. I turned OCPP off. Cool. And you can also, oh, it's got a little assistant in there, but I don't need an assistant for the charger. But you can see, so we've been charging here for 8 minutes now. The plug is up to 82 degrees, not too bad. The connector is at 96 currently because it is in direct sunlight. So we're gonna take the heat gun and we're gonna see if we can just make that go. I don't know if we're gonna be able to get it hot enough.
Because of the
to
location
actually
of the
trip,
sensor, yeah.
Because the sensor is technically located on the back side of the plug, in between
Yep.
the plug and the outlet, where it needs to be.
Yes.
And we're going to be hitting it from this side.
Without melting the plastic.
Without melting the plastic. But we should be able to see that number start to climb pretty rapidly, though.
Yep.
So, I'm just going to start on and see what it takes. If you wanted to back up and just show what I'm doing here.
Heat guns will melt if you get too close.
We're trying to stay a decent, respectable distance away.
Yep.
Temperature hasn't changed any yet.
You may not get it to.
Because also, 83, we got a little bit of increase. I'm trying not to stay in 1 point because I don't want to melt anything.
Went back down to 82. So in theory, what should happen if it gets too hot?
So it should, if I remember correctly, it will limit power at a certain temperature, and if it continues to climb, it will then cut power.
Gotcha.
But, I mean, even with the heat gun, I'm not even getting it really optimal.
You got to 83.3.
Because I don't want to, you know, blast it too hard and actually melt it any.
Yeah.
Because you can actually see this is getting a little
Yep.
glossy, although it's not hot to the touch. So I do have it on high, right? Yes. Yeah, we'll just do this for a little bit longer and see if that number goes up any.
All right. Yep. Not 84. Working with it on.
It's hot.
All right, so that test didn't work. We couldn't get it hot enough.
Yeah, we ended up running into, because we're using a heat gun, the plastic rubber up here started kind of giving before
shiny cloth.
Before the inside got warm. Yep. So it's going to be hard to really verify that. That said, the Mad Lad Tom Malogny did it. If you go check out his video, you can see it in action. He had a whole system rigged up.
We can put a link to that video in the description too if you want to check that out. So yeah.
But nonetheless, I mean, the fact that it is still monitoring, it actually is going up a little bit, 86 now. So it's still monitoring.
So we went from 83 to 86, so it did go up. So yeah.
So anyway, super pleased with this.
It's super easy to set up.
Super easy to set up. I mean, the app seems to work pretty well.
Yep.
I like that it has OCPP support. It can also do load balancing. So if you have two of them on the same circuit, you can divide power between them.
All right, so since we couldn't get it to heat up and default, Sebastian found the specs online. So when will it default?
Yeah, so this is kind of what they sent me about the temperature sensor. So you can see on here at 185 degrees Fahrenheit, it goes from 40 amps down to 32 amps. And then once it hits 203 Fahrenheit, 95 Celsius, it will do an overheat and stop charging. And then once it cools down, if it cools down, it will try again at 194 to 32 amps. And if temperatures continue to fall, it'll go back to 40 amps once it's below 176.
So it just won't cut off, and cut off would actually cut back on.
It'll cut back on if it's still getting power for whatever reason. But anyway, so that's really nice. So yeah, overall, super pleased with this. Yeah. I wish we could have actually demonstrated that better, but the rubber on the here actually started liquidating a little bit and getting a little sticky before the actual inside.
It's healed
because again, that sensor is in the actual plug area. It's not on the outside of the plug, anything like that. But overall, I'm pleased with it. I hope you're pleased with it, especially compared to your old charger.
Yep.
The cable's pretty thin.
I like how the cable's a lot thinner than the old charger. Yeah,
it's pretty hardy, and again, since it's got that metal clip, it should. Oh well, I can't get it out because your car hates me.
No, it doesn't.
But since it's got that metal clip, I mean, in theory, you can drop it, and it's perfectly fine. I mean, I'll do that a couple more times.
You actually even dented the floor.
One more time for good luck?
One more time.
I mean, I was actually doing a little bit of a toss there, and I mean, perfectly fine. You can see it did nick the metal a little bit, but like, that's fine. It nicked the plastic down here some, but
it's fine.
I mean, ultimately, I can still take this and boom.
We'll hear the magic words. All right, Sebastian, what does someone got to do what does someone need to do if they want one of these?
Yeah, so we'll have a link to it in our video description. You can get these on Amazon. We'll have a link down below for you can check out. If you use that link, we'll get a little bit of kickback from Amazon for buying it. Huge thanks to IYILO for sending this to us. Pricing, not near as bad as I was expecting. Currently, $350.
That's not bad. For
a 40 amp charger, capable of 48 amps if you hardwire it instead of using plug. And for a charger that has OCPP features, has load balancing, has support for like even family accounts. So like if you had an account and your wife had an account, you could each use the charger, share together. Like has all these good features, has RFID cards if you wanted to use them. Again, you don't have a use, but
yeah. So if you had a, for example, if you had a not a timeshare, if you Verbo or something like that, you wouldn't leave it out.
Or if you were using it at a business and you had it in your parking lot and you wanted to make sure it's only available to your employees. You have this, you set up the card in the app, it'll ask you for the ID number. And then
employee comes in, grabs a card, charges it, brings it back. If
you had like a fleet EV, you would just leave that in the center console or whatever. Anyway, So super cool. And for $350, I don't feel like that's bad at all.
Nope.
So anyway, if you want one of these, there'll be a link down in the video description to go check it out. But other than that, thank you all for watching this EV Geek Studios video.